We're going over some players that you might be panicking. You might be panicking. You might be trying to stay patient. Stay patient with these players. They're not really doing exactly what you want going into week 3. So we're going to talk about whether or not you should panic or be patient with these guys. So let's just jump right into it. You boys ready?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
And got that
I'm ready to burn some calories.
Ready to burn calories. Okay, let's go into it. Oh, that's not the first one on our list. Neither is that. Okay, first guy here. We're going to talk about running back Jonathan Taylor. Are you panicking or are you patient? This is Andre Navarro's guy here. Jonathan Taylor has not really been the running back one that a lot of people drafted him. Maybe he's running back two. Who knows? But he's not really been exactly what you drafted him as so far. Keyword.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have him in, I think, one league, but just in general from watching him, I mean, especially how he ended last year, he was balling. He probably could have won you some leagues, but this year, I guess pretty pedestrian, you would say. He averages, 15 touches a game, only 11 carries a game, which is pretty wild. But he does lead the NFL in rushes inside the 10. Obviously, that hasn't translated into touchdowns. He has 6 carries inside the 5-yard line, which is nuts through 2 weeks. They're going to come. He got stuffed 3 times in a row against the Rams on the 1, which is also pretty crazy. So I would be patient with him. I mean, he got you 6 catches, week 1, 6 or 7. So, I mean, it's going to come. He's playing the Titans next week. He should gash them. But, I mean, the usage right now has just been low. But like I said, only 11 carries. But you got to love the stats as far as, inside the 10 being number 1. And he for sure has the most carries inside the 5. He has 6 already. I mean, Jesus. So I'm going to be patient with him. He should get more carries. Game script, I'm sure eventually will start falling in his favor. So
you are being patient.
Yeah.
With Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor I wasn't super hyped on him going into this year. I think, Tyler, you might have been the same way as me.
Yeah.
I think in one of our leagues, he didn't go until the tail end of the second round. But I think you're right. I think with that, we always say the best ability is availability. And if you're available in the fucking 5 yards, dude, 5 yards out, bro.
Yeah, and he's a big guy. So everything I read, I mean, everything's trending up other than, I mean, he hasn't had a touchdown, like I said, but those carries inside the 10 and the 5, I'll take it.
So for me, this is kind of based on your roster. Like you said, we weren't too high on Jonathan Taylor coming into the season. I think it just I wasn't comfortable having him be my RB1. I felt like Nyheim Hines was going to get involved. I felt like Marlon Mack, they re-signed him. Maybe it's just a depth move, a veteran. I mean, Marlon Mack hasn't really been utilized too much, but he's still there and can, snake some touches here and there. So I'm going to say if Jonathan Taylor is my RB1, I'm panicking. But if he's my RB2, I'm going to be patient. And it's just because, like I said, the snap percentages have been kind of gross. I mean, 55% in week 1, only 45% of the snaps in week 2. So it's not like they're giving him this workhorse role like Najee Harris, where maybe Najee Harris's numbers aren't the great, but he's out there a fuck ton. Even Zeke, maybe, Tony Pollard's getting utilized a ton, but Zeke's still out there 75% of the snaps. I mean, you don't like seeing this, a 50% snap rate on average for him. I mean, he is getting the volume like Dre said right there, so that's why I'm saying if he's my RB2, then I'm being a little bit patient because, 17 rushes week 1, 15 week 2. But when you think of this Colts offensive line and how they're supposed to be one of the best top-tier offensive lines in the NFL, especially in terms of the rushing game. I mean, he's only averaging 3.4 yards per carry. That is gross, especially for a guy who has, track speed. I mean, what did he run at the pro day? 4.4?
No, he ran like a 4.29.
Oh, 4.29. So even faster than what I was, going to say basically is, a guy who has that burst and that speed. All you need is a little crease, a little hole, and he can hit it, and and then it's off to the races. And like you said, a guy who has world class track speed, you'd think that if he was getting the ball, 32 rushes already through 2 games, that he would have at least broken off one big chunk play. He hasn't, so that kind of is why I'm a little bit panicked. If he's my RB1, if he's my RB2, I'm being a little bit patient.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I literally added wrong. It's actually 16 carries and 22 touches, which, oof, my God. That definitely wasn't this year's. Look, they play the Titans. Hopefully, if you're watching, he'll do that.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
like I wasn't too high on him. It's kind of, you know, maybe I'm throwing some shade at this guy right here, just kind of, you know, to be funny. But I did a prop bet, I guess you would say, before the season started.
Oh, that's
Guy's
crazy.
a Colts fans. He bet me, straight bet $500. He picked Jonathan Taylor would lead the NFL in rushing. I said he would not. So I literally have any other running back in the NFL to lead.
Ridiculous.
He just has Jonathan Taylor for $500. So I would say so far I'm off to a hot start, seeing as how Jonathan Taylor can only get you 3.4 yards per carry. Obviously that can change, and they do have a nice schedule coming up. So maybe a good buy low candidate here, but
Sure.
I would rather have JT as my RB2 instead of my RB1.
Yeah, if someone has him as an RB1, I'm going to try and give him like a 2-for-1. If you're high on him, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, all right. Then you guys want to move on to the next guy here?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's move on to Antonio Gibson, the running back who was drafted super late last year in leagues, and this year he went as your RB1 possibly in some leagues. He's kind of in the same range as Jonathan Taylor, going in that tail end of the first, second round. So after 2 weeks, are you panicking or are you patient with Antonio Gibson?
Yeah, so I'm going to be patient, and we got another second-year running back here with Antonio Gibson, just kind of leading a trend, a little foreshadowing. We have another second-year running back coming up soon. But, yeah, I'm going to be patient with Antonio Gibson. I mean, I know there was a lot of reports coming out, that he was going to be the Washington football team's CMC in a sense, the guy who's going to get a ton of rushing attempts, and then a guy who played wide receiver at Memphis, so he's a capable receiving back out of the backfield. They do have J.D. McKissic there, and they have split the snaps 60% Antonio Gibson, 40% McKissic. So, like, that snap percentage sounds gross, 60-40, because you're thinking, like, this is a full-blown running back by committee. But when you look at the touches in terms of who's getting the ball, you got Gibson has 38 total touches, and McKissic has 10 total touches. So, almost a 4-to-1 split in terms of the touches. And then rushing attempts is 33 for Gibson, only 5 for J.D. McKissic. I think the biggest thing is that, he's getting the volume, he's getting the touches. He is the main running back there for the Washington football team. It's just the touchdowns haven't been there yet. If you give him a touchdown in each of those games, I think you're perfectly fine with what Antonio Gibson's been doing so far in this offense. I mean, 11 last year he had. I know he had that big game. I think it was Thanksgiving. He had 3, but yeah. I think the touchdowns will come. The more this offense gets acclimated with Heineke at the quarterback instead of Fitz. So yeah, I'm not panicking on Antonio Gibson. I am being super patient.
Super patient.
Super patient.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not super patient, but I'm patient. I mean, you covered it pretty much all. As opposed to, Jonathan Taylor getting that 3.4. This dude Gibson's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, like 4.9. So when he gets the rock, he's efficient with it. They need to give him the ball more. Like, McKissic's good to like spell him out, but he could catch, I'm sure, just as good. He played, he played receiver. He's a bigger guy. Maybe it's just, I doubt it's a pass protection. I don't know, but he should take over as the season goes on. But yeah, I'm patient. Plus, they haven't played the Cowboys yet, so.
And I don't think people know this really, but when they did the pro day and they did the 40, Jonathan Taylor obviously ran the fastest 40 time for the running backs. Like you said, it's like a 4.29. Antonio Gibson ran with the wide receivers during that time. He actually had the same exact 40 as Jonathan Taylor. So I don't think people understand that how fast and how much burst and speed that Antonio Gibson has. They always think of Jonathan Taylor as this like home run hitter guy who just has lightning fast speed, but Antonio Gibson is exactly the same exact speed in terms of the 40 time. If you want to.
He's
get
an
to
athlete.
the nitty gritty.
Super athlete.
Yeah, it's super horny.
What about you, Mike? You being panic?
No, I'm patient. I'm patient. It does suck though, like you're saying. Like he went from 5 targets to 2 targets in this past game. It's like, because he's a capable pass catching back, and like I don't know. If the Washington football team is smart, I think they would use him more. Yeah, it is frustrating seeing J.D. McKissic walk across the end zone.
For sure. And that fumble hurt him against the Chargers, so that probably
yeah,
little baby doghouse. I don't know. Sucked.
Yeah,
him.
but I would be patient with Antonio Gibson. I don't think you have anything to worry about. Let's go on to Clyde Edwards Helaire, the last second-year running back we're going to talk about today. Panic or patience on Clyde Edwards Helaire? I would panic if I was.
Yeah. I mean, before the season, we did the players we loved. He was one of them for me. But I mean, he's not getting the volume. His yards per carry is like 3.3 also. It's not good. My man lost him the game last week. You watch Darrell Henderson cross the end zone instead of him. I mean, the offense as a whole.
Darrell Williams.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Darrell Williams. That's how much. He doesn't even fucking play that much. But he just doesn't look good. It's crazy to think that. I was telling one of my buddies yesterday, actually. Imagine if Mahomes was like, I want DeAndre Swift instead of CEH, how much better they would be. Because he just doesn't look the part. There's so many other running backs in this class. Out of the two we've talked about, he's worse than both of them. He went before both of them. Yeah, it looks like they just want Mahomes to slang it, and it's been working. Just nothing's really falling in his favor. Like I said, no touches. I don't even think he got maybe one catch last week. It's just there's nothing good I can find.
And I think with Travis Kelce seems it's like those underneath, they don't really have any of those routes. Like Clyde Edwards had 0 targets last week.
There we go.
So I think it's like Travis Kelce is the guy that he throws those little dink and dunks to. It's not Clyde Edwards. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, I mean,
so that hurts him as well. I mean,
he's got 17 carries for 89 yards for the season.
Yeah,
that's not good. He got 1.6. He got you 1.6 last week. He doesn't even have 10 fantasy points on the season. I mean, in standard.
Yeah.
He's got.
What was that stat you had, Tyler, about him in the red zone or something like that? Maybe you don't remember. I don't know.
He has 8.8 points total in standard leagues. That is boo-boo magoo. Derrick Henry did better than that in one run against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'd be panicking right now if I
there we go.
Clyde
That's
Edwards
it.
Helaire. Get rid of him.
I'm done. Yeah.
So for me, I'll be the contrarian here. I'm going to be patient with CEH. And, obviously, just before I go into some numbers, why I am going to be patient with CEH. It is, very concerning and disheartening to see how a guy who's a very capable pass catcher, at LSU, he had like 50, 60 catches, which might not seem like a lot compared to the NFL, but like 50 catches in college football as a running back is like
impressive.
absurd. Yeah, it's up there. So, and you do got to take into considerations that they did have their choice between Clyde Edwards, Swift, Cam Akers, Jonathan Taylor, Gibson. That was a loaded rookie running back class there. So there has to be a reason why they chose Clyde Edwards Helaire over all of those guys, because they literally had their pick of the litter in terms of who they wanted for the running back position there. But yeah, I am a little concerned that he's not being targeted out of the backfield, especially with how pass happy this team is. And they were down in that game against the Browns, and it's like they barely utilized him out of the backfield. But just some positive numbers for why it can be positive on CEH is that he's got a 70% snap share right now, so he is the guy there. You got Darrell Henderson, who's the backup. He's seeing about 25% of the snaps.
Darrell Williams.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Darrell Williams. Sorry.
Both times.
No, you're good. I'm just trying to catch it.
Yeah. No, you're right. My bad. Darrell Williams. So, yeah, 70% for CEH, 25% for Darrell Williams, and then you got a little bit of McKissick coming in here and there. But then in terms of the running back touches, it's the CEH show there for the Kansas City Chiefs. 30 total touches for CEH. Between Darrell Williams and Jerick McKinnon, they only have 5 total touches. Unfortunately, one of those 5 total touches for Darrell Williams and McKinnon just happened to be a goal line carry for Darrell Williams that snaked away a rushing touchdown from CEH. I think if you look at the stat line, Darrell Williams had like 2 rushes for -2 yards and a touchdown, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then also 2 tough run defenses. Week 1 against the Browns. The Browns defense is one of the better defenses in the NFL. I know people might still think of them as the Cleveland Browns, but definitely loaded on the front 7. They got Myles Garrett. They go get Jadeveon Clowney. They drafted a nasty linebacker out of Notre Dame. I'm not even going to begin to pronounce his name. But they're stacked. Yeah, the Browns defense is really good. And then also, you play on the road in Baltimore. Baltimore's run defense at home is also going to be a tough matchup as well. So just, kind of 2 tough games right out the gate. And then just last thing here, they did boost their offensive line. I know it's kind of hard to see, going against those 2 tough rush defenses, the Ravens and the Browns. But, they go out and they trade for Orlando Brown Jr. They go out and they sign Joe Thuney from the Patriots, who's one of the best offensive guards. And then they drafted the rookie center, Creed Humphreys, out of Oklahoma. So, new parts to the offensive line. Maybe they're still, building that chemistry and the rapport. I do think there are better days for CH going forward.
Yeah, I will say that is a good point. The percentage snap, count because I make the same argument for Najee Harris. So why not make it here?
Yeah, see, and I'm on that. That adds to why I'm concerned. Actually, is that he's on the
not being
field so much.
productive.
They're just like they're just not giving him the ball. Like he's on the field 70% of the plays, but my man doesn't have more than 15 carries in a game or something like that. I think he's got, or maybe I know one of them he had 11, so he's not really getting the ball it's because Mahomes they're one of the most pass heavy offenses, and that's why I'm concerned that if you're one of the most pass heavy offenses and you have a dude who could catch, why aren't you passing him the ball? You would think he'd be open with Kelsey getting all this love.
Yeah.
So that's what bothers me. But
do you think in terms of twos, like they've been in kind of two games where, the Browns game they were behind, so they're playing catch up, so you're throwing the ball every time. And then, obviously the Ravens game is kind of a competitive back and forth game. But do you think there'll be some games where obviously it's the Chiefs offense and they can blow someone out 40-14?
For sure.
Well, they're going to be smacking somebody and then they'll just really rely on the run. And we'll see him get 20, 25 total touches in the game because they're just kind of running the clock out almost in a sense.
I would say yes, but my man just fumbled and lost him the game too. So it's like
it happens.
No, for sure, but
fumbles.
For sure, but it's just I guess the fact that he lost in the game. There's still that doghouse. I don't care what team you're at. I've seen the best of running backs fumble, and don't be on the Patriots and do that because you're for sure toast. But
I mean, it happened to Damian Harris last week, and he came out and had 20-something touches the week 2 and put up a touchdown, solid stat line. So I don't know, but yeah. All right, we can jump into the next guy though.
Yeah, let's go on to the quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill fumbles the ball 3 times already.
He's been watching Daniel Jones highlights.
Patience on Ryan Tannehill. Does it hurt because Derrick Henry runs all of the yards?
Seriously. Go ahead. I mean.
So yeah, I guess Ryan Tannehill or Ryan Tannehill, if you want to say, because he's been pretty shitty the last 2 weeks, or I guess the first 2 weeks of the season. But I'm still gonna be patient here with him.
Why?
You get Julio Jones. Change an offensive coordinator. So I feel like they haven't been able to really build that chemistry or the rapport. I mean, Julio Jones didn't practice a ton during training camp. They had 0 preseason games where it was Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones on the field. So I feel like they're kind of gaining their rhythm and building that chemistry and the rapport. Just some positive notes on Tannehill. He is the 4th highest graded quarterback on Pro Football Focus after 2 weeks. And then the next 3 games are going to be some pretty juicy ones. I mean, you're playing against the Colts, who have been nothing stellar in terms of the pass defense, and then he gets the Jaguars and the Jets. So 3 very capable games for Tannehill to come out and put up some solid numbers. So I would be patient on Tannehill.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm with it too. It does. I think that the additions, like you said, of Julio Jones, AJ Brown should be better. I think it will fall into play. I think we're just you're running into some tough first 2 weeks is all. I would be patient as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have too good of players around you to not be good, and it's really the O-line. I mean, my man got sacked 6 times week 1. Lewan gave up 5 sacks to 1 person, so it's really not Tannehill's fault when your O-line's just getting destroyed. So, yeah, I'm patient. I mean, he's like I said, he has too many playmakers that are going to get open. If he does this the whole season, well, then he sucks, obviously. But, yeah, I'll be patient. They got the W. They came from behind. Granted, it was a Derrick Henry show, but yeah, we just once that O-line settles in, I think if they don't, well, then, yeah, we'll see. But
I think they just got to build the rapport and the chemistry. Like I said, it's a new offensive coordinator, so it's
they need that
new plays, new calls, new schemes, new formations, etc. So I'll be patient.
Yeah, they get the continuity down.
I'll give him another 2 weeks. I mean, if he, like I said, Colts, Jags, Jets. Maybe the Colts is a tough one, but Jags and Jets. If we get past week 5 and he's still struggling, then I'm hitting the break glass emergency button.
Yeah, then that's a real panic.
Then that's a real panic.
Yeah, I'm hitting the sign Cam Newton button.
Oh God, that's way worse.
Yeah, that's
way worse, sir. Let's go on to Brandon. I suck.
Brandon, I can't see the field to produce.
Brandon, I'm not even on the field.
Oh, we could do this for hours.
Brandon,
Aiyuk.
Yeah. There we go.
That's a good one. I was gonna say Brandon, I poop.
Yeah,
but that's not as good.
So many
fucking
things.
showed me up.
This one right here could be one of the biggest. I mean, I don't know. This one's like I feel like I've been blindsided. Where
so weird.
I don't know.
As a Niner fan, I'm like, I would rather.
I just don't get it. You know,
It'd be like if Deontay Johnson as I'm a Steelers fan. Imagine Deontay Johnson all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no, he's we're benching him.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean, and, maybe it was, he was kind of heading into the season. He was battling a hamstring injury. It is a long season. I don't think, too many people understand that, especially with the extra game added. And if the 49ers want to make a Super Bowl push, you got playoff games. Those are just extra games as well. So maybe Shanahan's just being a little cautious, saying, hey, I need to, a guy is nursing a hamstring injury. I don't need him to come out here in week 1, week 2 and re-aggravate it, and then he's out for the next 4 or 5 weeks. I need him I need to like ease him into it. But we'll see what happens. But I am panicking on Brandon Aiyuk right here. I mean, he's only played 50% of the snaps. And then it's been the Deebo Samuel show over there for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, in terms of targets, Deebo 20, Kittle 9, Aiyuk 10. I mean, not 10, my bad. Aiyuk 2. So Deebo has 10 times more targets than Brandon Aiyuk right now. So I am full-blown hitting the panic button. On the flip side, if someone is panicking, I'm trying to buy low. I don't know, maybe throw out like a Tim Patrick out there or something like that. See if maybe you can get Aiyuk on the low, because I think if Aiyuk does come back and, I don't know, gets out of the doghouse or gets 100%, he does have the upside to be what we saw him kind of be towards the tail end of last season. So, yeah, if I can buy low on him, I'm buying low. But if I have him, which I do in 2 leagues, I'm mucho panicking.
There you go. So would you, having Aiyuk, would you trade Aiyuk for Tim Patrick? Or someone ask who are you willing to get?
So I think I'm keeping Aiyuk over Tim Patrick. I think Tim Patrick might have a safer floor.
For sure.
But Aiyuk, and here's the thing, it's like you've probably spent, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick on Aiyuk, so you're selling low. You know what I'm saying? It's, his, what does the crypto market and Aiyuk have right now, dude? They're on fire.
We should have played
They're burning. Their stock is down.
Down.
So you would be selling low on Aiyuk right now. That's why I'd rather buy low.
And here's the thing. I'll tell you what.
Sell low.
I'll tell you what. His stock is not high.
Not.
I interrupted you.
We're not financial advisors.
They're not. I'm not either. But all right. So just for the sake of people that fuck with us, who are you willing? Like, if someone sent you a trade for Aiyuk, you could be like, all right, I'll accept that. Like,
I don't know. Throw some names at. Like, I can't even think right now.
Probably like a 20,
would you trade
Because I'm just watching these Aiyuk highlights and seeing all these plays he's making, and he's not doing any of that for my team right now. So I'm just getting pissed.
Would you get Golladay? Would you receive Kenny Golladay for Brandon Aiyuk?
I would take Golladay over Aiyuk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you? Oh, here's a good one. Rondale Moore for Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
I think I'd still hold on to Aiyuk, because I feel like if Aiyuk can come back and be the number 2, he's going to be out there. Rondale Moore, explosive, but he's still, in my terms, 3rd at best, probably 4th in the pecking order. I mean, he's not seeing as much. Aiyuk's not seeing a ton of the field either. But if Aiyuk can get back up to that 70, 80% snap rate, I think he offers more upside on a consistent basis.
All right, one more. Javonte Williams.
Yes.
Oh, give me Javonte Williams all day.
Give me Javonte.
Yeah, for sure, all day.
All right. And that's it.
Okay.
That's it, folks.
That's our coverage on Brandon Aiyuk.
We just talked about him more than he's been on the field, so we should be showing us some love. We just talked about him for 4 minutes. He's been on the field for 2. So he should be doing us a favor and shout us out.
These highlights keep pausing, and it's probably just because they want the time to be longer.
I think it's
for him on the screen.
No, it's glitching because it's not used to seeing it right now. They're like, this isn't happening right now. He sucks. Look at that. He might get hurt. That's probably how he hurt his hamstring.
I don't know.
Doing 360 dunks.
All right, we're going to jump into the next one.
Let's go on to Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, I mean, you said it. You put him on your do not draft list beginning of the season, Saquon Barkley, Dre. Are you panicking or patient on Saquon Barkley? I kind of just threw these in here. I want everybody's take on Saquon.
I'll be quick. I mean, it's crazy that he had a 41-yard run and then finished with like not that many more yards on like 10 more carries. It's just the Giants are. Daniel Jones looked good. They need to go back to his rookie year where they were designing passes. I know we talked about it last year. Daniel Jones does not check it down. He would rather throw an interception, I think, than throw it to Saquon. So they need to find ways to scheme him open. He's their best player. They need to, even if he's getting 12 carries and then 7 or 8 catches, just get him in space. So I'm still panicking though. I'm panicking that they're not doing that. So I'm gonna see if they need an offensive coordinator. Me and T.O.B. offensive coordinators for the Giants. Because whoever's doing it right now. Oh, yeah, Jason Garrett. Duh, he sucks.
Was
That's it.
Was that who Kenny Golladay was yelling at?
Probably. He's probably like, see me outside in the parking lot. Beat
There's a
your
guy
ass.
just like
Catch me outside. How about that?
cleaning a helmet on the sideline, and Kenny Golladay just ripping into him. And I couldn't tell if it was Jason Garrett or not, but if it wasn't, it's just poor guy just like trying to help out.
Kenny Galladay's a big dude too, so that's it.
But yeah, I'm pretty panicked with Saquon Barkley. Although I will say he's so low on what his possible value is. I've kind of been trying to trade for him in a couple leagues.
Yeah, I mean,
Just because his value is low, as I could throw out some like pretty shite,
well, yeah, and the team that has him probably isn't winning, so you could probably get him out. They're probably sick of him too. I don't know one Saquon owner that's like, oh man, he'll be good. Everyone's like, fuck Saquon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for me, I am panicking. I mean, but I guess it's like, what did you expect? I mean, the guy's coming off a torn ACL. This offensive line isn't the best. It's probably in the bottom, third in terms of how bad they are in the NFL. See, and you knew they were going to ease him into it. He wasn't going to come out and get a Najee Harris type of snap percentage, or he wasn't going to see 20, 25 touches a game like he did in his rookie year potentially. They're going to ease him in. And then two tough matchups. Denver, tough defense at Washington, another tough defense. I know he ripped off that big run, but I mean, Washington's front seven is probably top 3 overall in terms of on the defensive side of the ball. But kind of, if you could pull this off, I'm trading for Saquon right now because he's going to be at home against Atlanta, and I think he just has a monster game, and people are going to be like, he's back, get him. So if you could trade for Saquon, have him blow up this week against the Falcons, and then I would be selling him for the moon because the next 4, 5, 6, and 7 at New Orleans, tough defense, at Dallas, maybe sketchy. Then he plays the Rams and Aaron Donald, and then he plays against the Panthers, who the Carolina Panthers front seven is pretty nasty right now. So yeah, just some tough games coming up for Saquon. During the middle of the season, it gets kind of easier. You got Kansas City, the Raiders, Philly, Miami. Those you're not really scared about them. But then some other tough ones down the stretch. You got Washington again, Chicago. You got Tampa Bay towards the tail end of the season too. So yeah, I'll be panicking on Saquon right here. Or if you have Saquon and he blows up this game, I'm selling him high. Basically, is what I'm saying. Let him blow up against the Falcons. Let him put up 20, 30 points, and then I'm moving him for a more consistent player if I can. Unless he does that. Derrick Henry, maybe you get like a Devontae Adams or something. I don't know. You pull something off where you try to get like a top tier guy. Maybe you trade Saquon and like a Noah Fant, and you get like a Kelsey. Just to lock up your tight end position.
So, I'll take that.
But yeah,
if he
blows up this week, I'm selling high because I am panicking.
Yeah,
I like it. Sell high after Falcons and like it. Let's go on to Bobby Trees. Robert Woods. This is an interesting one because Cooper Kupp has just been kind of blowing it up. He was number 1 wide receiver in week 2 with a fuck ton of points, fuck ton of fantasy points. So Robert Woods is looking like little burger bitch boy in the wide receivers with Matt Stafford. But panic or patience on Robert Woods? I'm gonna go patience.
Patience. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'll go patience. I mean, still, I know Cooper Kupp's been getting all the love, and he's had this crazy first 2 weeks, over 100 yards in each of those games. But I mean, Robert Woods is still seeing a 24% target share. I mean, that's just if you're going to see over 20% target share, you're usually going to finish as a top 24 wide receiver. So I'm just being patient on him. I think defenses will start to adjust to Cooper Kupp because they're obviously realizing he's the guy, and then that's just going to open up more looks for a guy like Robert Woods. And then, just buy low on Robert Woods if you can right now. I mean, the next 3 games, he's going to have 3 green rated matchups out of the next 4 games. He plays Tampa Bay, Arizona, Seattle, and the Giants. So, I mean, you're not really scared against any of those defenses in terms of the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, this one was kind of hard because I was weighing back and forth. There's things I don't like, things I like, but ultimately I think I'm going to be patient. It's it's mostly too because of the offense. I mean, he's already gotten 3 carries this season, so they always find ways to do those little end arounds, and he usually does pretty well with them. But unless Cooper Kupp's going to have fucking 160 catches for 30 million touchdowns, then eventually, I mean, they're going to key on him or find ways to scheme around him. So Robert Woods is going to have his game. He's a great buy low candidate right now. If you want to, sell on a receiver that's performing, but you don't think can hold it up, it's a perfect time to trade for him because, I mean, he still has a touchdown. I mean, like T said, the target share's there. It's just, you know what? If they can't stop Cooper Kupp right now, then, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I think that's more or less what it is, as opposed to like he's just, getting outplayed by Cooper Kupp. I mean, everyone knows Robert Woods, how good he is. So I don't think it's, he's getting passed. I think it's just more of a scheme on defenses, but I think that'll change.
Yeah,
this week.
And also you got Matt Stafford at quarterback now instead of Jared Goff. Like I think, honestly, I thought Robert Woods would have, because Jared Goff and Cooper Kupp kind of came into the league around. They came in the same year, right?
Might have been, yeah.
Yeah. So like they've been, they were kind of like homies. So I was kind of more expecting Robert Woods on these deeper routes, maybe to show up with Matt Stafford, but maybe defense has just been keying in on that, like you said. But so you got Matt Stafford at quarterback. I wouldn't be panicking if you this ideally. I feel like it's the more talented wide receiver on the Rams.
Yeah. Plus, I heard Cooper Kupp and Stafford, they go ice fishing together. So I think they really bonded. No, I'm just kidding. Robert Woods ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's some shit. That's funny.
I'm just playing.
Dude, I believed you too. I was like,
know.
really?
Well, you know why you believed me?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not. Shut up.
You said it. Don't act like me.
Well, hey.
Yeah, listen, we're here. So be patient on Robert Woods. I think we're all unanimously saying that.
Patient with the trees.
Bobby Trees was. Never mind. Okay. Let's go on to our last one here. We got Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay is not having a day.
No, he is not.
In fantasy football, he's just not. It's like the Sterling Shepard show, and that's about it. So, yeah, I mean, Kenny Golladay, panic or patience? I would say patient. This is my thinking is, you didn't really – Kenny Golladay, you got kind of like on a cheap – as Kenny Golladay goes, you got him on a later round. You probably got him around the same rounds that you got Brandon Aiyuk. So, ideally, he's not doing what you want. But, I mean, I have him in some leagues, and I haven't even been really starting him just because I have other receivers I'm starting over him. But I would be patient because I do think it's going to come back, and I think he will become the wide receiver one once they get this offense a little bit more figured out.
I guess I'm like a panic patient on this one. I'm patient on Golladay like coming back and returning to form, but I'm more patient on that. I'm more panicking on Daniel Jones being able to just find him, if that makes sense. I mean, he had 8 targets, 3 catches. He's gotten 14 targets in 2 games. And he can get open. So I'm not panicking in that regard. I'm just panicking on Daniel Jones, like being able to hit him. Granted, I don't think Golladay will drop a ball like my man Darius Slayton did, but I think he needs to just – they need to get their chemistry down. I think it's more on Daniel Jones than Golladay. I mean, he is getting eased into it. I mean, he was hurt also, but he looked a lot better the second week than the first week. So that's where I'm like a little bit of both. So I'm like panic, patient.
Panic patient.
Panic patient.
Yeah, I'll panic on this one just because, I mean, we do see Sterling Shepard out here, and I don't know if it's just the chemistry and the rapport of being there for a couple years with Danny Dimes already. Golladay coming in new, like Dre said, he had the hamstring injury, so kind of missed a lot of practice during training camp. But, it seems like Sterling Shepard is the go-to guy for this offense. And you still have Darius Slayton. Evan Ingram's going to come back. I mean, maybe Saquon gets a little bit more involved in the passing game as well. And then you got Danny Dimes running the ball. So, it's going to be Sterling Shepard. And then after that, it looks like Galladay's going to be the 2 in terms of like the target share. But, I mean, is it going to be like that on a consistent basis? Because I think we can see some games where, Darius Slayton is the guy who's getting the most targets after that. Or Evan Ingram has a game where he gets 7-8 targets. So, yeah, I'm panicking on Golladay right here. Maybe I as a flex guy, I'm not too mad at it.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 3. But, yeah, so I'd be panicking.
So would you be throwing him on the trade block, just trying to get something out of him because he's gonna go?
Just depends what people offer. Like I said, maybe you're selling. I don't want to say selling low right now, but I'm not sure you'd be getting in return what you would want. Yeah. Kenny
Golladay. I mean, Him going from Matt Stafford at quarterback to Daniel Jones is definitely a downgrade in my eyes.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be this much.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I think in the same way that Cooper Kupp is not going to get all the targets all the time. The same thing for Kenny Golladay or Sterling Shepard. It's like you can't throw everything to Sterling Shepard. You have capable other receivers, so that's why I'm a little more patient. But
No.
that's just me, bruh.
No.
Anything else you guys want to say on Kenny Golladay?
Kenny Golladay, nah.
All right, that's it. What'd you say? You said you liked that video, and it was really informative, and now you want to subscribe so you can win your fantasy football league? Okay, go ahead. You wish that we would live stream and answer fantasy football questions every Sunday before the games? Okay, they sure do. AVG Fantasy Football has your back. Did you get what I did there? It was a little Dora the Explorer, a little back and forth. Like we weren't actually talking, but you thought maybe you did. Yeah, you thought. Yeah, I convinced you. It's called acting. What else did you say? You said that you want to be able to call in while we do live streams? Hey, should I start McCaffrey? Well, yeah. Here it is. This is an example of what's going to happen. Hello? Yes, I'm curious. Should I start Dalvin Cook? Then this is us. Yeah, obviously you should play Dalvin Cook because Dalvin Cook's like really good. So I'd say, it is matchup proof. So put him in your lineup. It's that damn easy. And then bam, you won your fantasy football league that week. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see more videos just like this. If you want to see us answer questions live every Sunday before the games start, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you know right when we drop content for you to win your fantasy football league.